At the end of the day, your business is a direct reflection of who you are as a person. Every interaction someone has with your brand, every interaction they have at the front counter, that is you. That is a direct reflection of you and your business.
Well, Brian and viewers, welcome to the Fruitstand Studio podcast. I'm your host today, Omar Presswich. I'm the founder and CEO of the company. And today's guest is another entrepreneur, super successful, has seen some highs, has seen some lows, and rose above. And you just said it, you've found a new path, you've become more grounded, and you seem like you are attracting the best version of yourself, and that's what I want to talk about. So, Brian, welcome to the Fruitstand Studio podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It's been a quick relationship, but I feel like we're in alignment. I appreciate that.
Let's have you get a little closer,
A little closer.
or there you go, so I can hear that deep podcast voice.
I love it. Yeah, thanks.
Brian, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hmm. You know, I used to describe myself in titles and roles. So when you ask that question, I feel like Brian fucking Johnson wants to give you a long laundry list of accomplishments. But as I've evolved and really kind of unbecome, I'm describing myself differently. And I see myself differently, and I'm actually showing up in the world differently. And so if I can let go of all that, we kind of all have that, like whatever we project or we think. But for me, I would say, I don't know, man. I have a big heart. I have a big heart. I love people. Um, I'm really good at seeing patterns, and I like to kind of put everything in a can and shake it up and see what happens, and like see how it just kind of flows or integrates out into the world or the space or the container that you're holding.
When I was 16, I was not thinking about who could be my best mentors, like you described. And so it's it's interesting just hearing how your mind thinks, and like I want to shake things up, or I want to see how things work. I thought you were going to say, when I said, who are you, or describe yourself, I thought you would say something like, I'm a father, which you did in a way, because the title thing is so interesting because no one cares. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
It's, hey, I'm a father. I guess I run a business, however, you would describe that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at the end, we're just doers. You know what I'm saying?
I do. I feel like actually we're all here to just do, to just be whatever we are. And I think the roles have to fade for us to find that.
You ever read the book The Alchemist?
I haven't. I haven't.
So The Alchemist is one of my favorite books. When I was going through a life transformation, it was a book that was recommended, and it's become one of my favorites for like over a decade. But it's about a young boy who is on the pursuit to find his personal greatness or his mission, and the journey, and when you feel stuck, and the omens of life, and like essentially a spirit that will guide you to help. If you listen, how you were saying earlier, if you just listen and do, y- the universe will, this is the line, the universe will conspire to help you achieve those things. And but you have to listen, and you have to do, and to become that, like that person of yourself. And if you don't listen and you are scared to do, you'll just be a person living?
Yeah, I think it's balance in all those things, right? Like I feel like sometimes we get caught in the chase when you say the word pursue. I just feel like sometimes, at least when I was 16, 17, I was just this. I mean, I have a son, right? He's almost 15. Testosterone off the charts. His brain is, love you, Winston, to death. But, son, your testosterone is interfering. There's some interference in the system with the brain right now, right? He's on it. But I feel like our evolution and everything, it just kind of evolves as we grow. And I feel like when I was younger, it was just such a chase, just such a chase. And I was always running towards nothing is what I understand now. Like at the time I thought it was really, really important. But I think as I have aged and unbecome to bring, being 16, 17 and kind of unbecoming, I just feel that being or listening, I think is the key, right? When you listen here before you pursue. So it's just like hit the pause button. We're obsessed with the play button. We're obsessed. Someone was saying yesterday, and don't quote me, this came from just a friend, but like 206 times the average person scrolls on their phone or is interrupted. So rather than hit the YouTube play button or the video games or the scrolling or you own a business, like the 120 emails, the 120 texts, the 18 missed calls when we leave our meetings, just hit the pause button. Let's just observe what's around us, like feel into that and then listen. And then the more I've paused and listened, the faster and the more efficient and the more effective my life has become. So I know it's a paradox, but it's interesting. And I also feel better and I'm healthier and I'm more successful.
Let's back up about your business, and because I think that I'm curious, right, from one business owner to another. I never expected to really be in the line of business that I am. I know when I was 16 or 18, 19, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna own a business, but very like I'm not really sure. It was just a thing I said, just to say something. How how did you get in your line of business? How did you become an? Because if it's cool if I say it, but you own a couple Alpha Graphics,
Mm-hmm.
and Alpha Graphics in the United States is it's a brand. Like people know what Alpha Graphics is. When you see it, it's almost like a FedEx, right? You know what the logo is. You know that they're a print business. How do you get involved in something like that?
Well, for me, it's part of a bigger story. Um, for me, I'm second generation. I think there's at least a lot of friends that I have right now going into second generation business. And so it's something I was kind of born into. But ironically, even though I was born into that family, the story's expansive. So I'll summarize for today. But my dad was always like, "No, don't do this. Go do something else. Go get a real job, whatever." He was just averse. And interestingly, the paradox in that is that made me want it even more. So, um, yeah, I was 1 years old. Him and my mom bought their first location, which is here in Salt Lake City area, and they had 3 months to turn a profit or they'd be shot. Everything they mortgaged, everything they had, they put it all on the line.
90 days.
Yeah, and that was it. That was the runway, 90 days, and they made it happen. And I grew up in the business. I started at age 10 in the summers, full time at 15, sales by 19, management by I think 25, 26, and owner by 29. So it's been a quick, hard, and fast. And and as much as I'm so grateful for my dad and all of their sacrifice and everything, like I didn't want to just take it over and let it just chill.
Are you an only child?
No, oldest of four.
Okay. Did your other siblings get involved in it, or were they like, "Nah, I'm gonna go and pursue other things"?
Yeah, good question. My sister's 3.5 years younger. I'd actually call her the creative in the family. I
Amazing.
was more left brain, so she's an amazing violinist. She ended up marrying military, so
Okay.
she's moved 14 times. She's not here.
Probably speaks 14 languages
Yeah,
too.
yeah, she's awesome. And then my brothers are 10 years younger, so they honestly like it's just kind of a birthright thing. And I don't know. I mean, I've had to like deal with that myself. It's kind of hard sometimes when it just happened the way it did. I actually talked to my brother the other day and I sat him down and I said, you know, if you were born first, we'd probably be in with swapped roles right now. I'd be sitting where you're at.
I'm a second generation business owner, kind of. Let me explain. My dad, you grew up in Utah. My dad owned and started a company called Presswitch Pallet.
Hmm.
And Presswitch Pallet became like the number one pallet company in the state of Utah. Like they were the ones. And I remember when I was in high school, like 14, 15, growing up, even 8-year-old, 10-year-old, we'd go and on the weekends or in the summer, we'd work and my dad would pay us, a little bit of money. I was like, yeah, for me, it was like, I'd be the one of my friends with cash and I'd buy $5 pizza from like, I think it was called $5 pizza.
Yeah.
But anyway, my dad ended up selling that business right when I got into high school, and I'm the oldest of 10 or 8 kids. Sorry, I'm the oldest of 8. And I remember it was weird for me because I got to see the business from a little kid, not understand the where it was. But then when I was 15 and almost 16, I got to see the business at scale. And then my dad exited, sold it for a few million. And just, he never told us later in life. I asked him, like, hey, but I got to see my dad be smart with his money and invest and do other things. And, not, you never, as an entrepreneur, I don't think you ever retire because he's still doing stuff. But I think that allowed me to know that I can make something. And in that sense, I am a second generation entrepreneur because I got to see it done in front of my eyes.
And how lucky are we for that opportunity?
Insane.
Because really it's when you're talking about these 16, 17-year-olds and relating it back, I like I was 10 years old surrounded by business owners and I was incredibly observant for my age. And I chose to work. I didn't have to work to have my needs met, Like I chose to work and I was pretty assertive, perhaps aggressive at that age. I think assertive, I like word choice. It frames a container. And as I've aged, now it's more just planned and executed. But kind of thinking, yeah, we're just so lucky, like, and fortunate. We've had the roadmap. I feel like I had the cheat code, so to speak, from a young age, and I've maximized every single one of those. And then taken my dad, and he had some pretty big accomplishments. He hit some pretty high bars, but I've then mortgaged my own house 2 or 3 times and had my own journey and my own rags to riches. So I watched him do that 2 or 3 times, and then I've repeated the cycle 2 or 3 times. So as you know, like second gen business, awesome, amazing opportunity, mentorship, peers, like endless opportunity. But I went for it. I went really hard and had my own kind of traumas, I guess, later in life. And it made me like bring it full circle, relating it back to my dad and kind of watching some of his business struggles. And I relate it back to these kids now. I mean, they're not making that much more than I was making back then, and cost of living's way higher now.
Yeah.
Like they can't even buy a house. They can't. I mean, they can, and there's programs out there, and we need to do better. So I'm not like woe is me. Like I'm positive. What are we going to do about this? That's why I'm bringing it up. How can we take our experience? You and I, we're 40. We're middle aged, right? My kids are now that age. How do I give back? How do
Yeah.
I add mentorship? How do we engage with these 16, 17-year-olds who really I feel like are so distracted?
I think it's what we're doing right now because this is just a personal belief. I really think, Brian, that you and I, 1986 babies,
Yeah.
we got lucky. We got the era of no cell phones,
Mm-hmm.
or early cell phones. Our parents maybe had the old brick one. Early internet, Saturday morning cartoons, we got to live pre iPhone, and maybe something changed in the water, but we actually age much younger. Like, I don't look 40, you
Yeah,
know.
I don't feel 40.
Yeah.
I got more energy than I've had my whole life.
You
It's
also don't
wild.
look 40, and a lot of people our age, we're just a more fit generation. We care, we actually do care what we look like in a sense, but that's okay, because if you care what you look like and you do something about it, you're practicing discipline, and discipline in the kitchen, discipline in the gym to look good the right way, dude, that's okay, in my opinion. But the way we're giving back, in my opinion, of all of that is you have to be relevant with where the attention is with some of these youngsters. And if they're lost in the scroll, a lot of times they're also just watching YouTube, like a full-length podcast or a streamer. They watch people live life. And if you can show them, like, dude, this is what it's like to be an entrepreneur, these are like a podcast, they'll just listen slash watch. They resonate with that more. And they also, because they're on YouTube, they already know it's possible. You know what I'm saying? They're growing up watching people their age and whatever do it. And so the fact that your children, my nieces and nephews, their friends, I don't know, can see or hear this conversation and maybe get to know us on a real level without, I think that speaks volume. As long as we are living true, honest lives, because we could be liars on this camera
Mm-hmm.
and be completely pieces of shit outside. But those kids know who we are. They know who you are, and this would just solidify, right?
They have that sense,
Yeah.
actually. So I appreciate a couple things that you've said, if I may. You called out almost kind of what I call like total fitness, right? And it's the fitness of your soul or your being. Like you talk about in the kitchen, it's what we put in our body. Talk about business, it's what you do on the street. Talk about your mind. What are you feeding it?
Mm.
And I think actually like at least I feel like in talking to my daughter even today, right? Like I had a big idea kind of come to fruition today and she was there to witness it and I was actually in tears. It's been like 3 years in the making. But I realized in talking to her, like they're underrated, like, or maybe properly rated. I don't know. Like they're sneaky. They learn so fast. Like she's so profound for 17. Maybe we'll have her on here. But she's yeah, super grounded. She's like a force, man. Anything I can teach her, to your point, like I hope I can do something. I hope I can do something to help because I had so much help and so many mentors. So if there's any way I could show up, I will be there in a heartbeat.
Do you think that some of that comes from being a business owner?
That's a good question. I mean, I have friends that show up that aren't business owners, but I feel more of an obligation. No, wrong word. Words and containers. At the end of the day, your business is a direct reflection of who you are as a person. Every interaction someone has with your brand, every interaction they have at the front counter, that is you. That is a direct reflection of you and your business. And so obligation is totally the wrong word. The right word I would say is it's an accountability
Mm.
as a business owner and a responsibility to do the work and to pull people up. Like there's so many of these beautiful kids out there just ready. And so adults too actually. Like it's just the world we're in, man. Like let's just put a hand down. Like
Yeah.
sometimes it's just a little bit of a pull and we're good to go.
I actually do think it's an obligation.
Okay.
And the
Yeah, let's
I
roll.
so one of my favorite entrepreneur, for sure he's a mentor of mine. I've only met him one time in person, but he's changed my life. His name's Andy Frisilla. Shout out Andy, first form. Um, But he talks about how it is our obligation, especially as men, but just as obligation as people in the United States, to be our best selves. He says that personal excellence is the ultimate rebellion, and
Mm.
it is our obligation to make the right choice, to get fit mentally, spiritually, physically, and be aware, because the forces that if you're not in control of your mind, if you're not in control of your health, you are dependent on the things you shouldn't even be dependent on, or whether that's medicine or money from the government, or whatever it is. And so when he talks about how it is our obligation, especially maybe people that are in a position where we are, where it's our duty, in my opinion, to be the best version of ourselves, for our family, and then our work family. Your employees, their families, the people in the building, whoever it may be, and I think that's pretty awesome, because the people that and me, I know that when I'm really trying to be the best version of myself, because I know the trickle effect it has, I feel way more empowered to do the right thing, because of what
Impact,
the impact, yeah, like what's it going to.
influence.
Yeah.
You
Could-
nailed it, man. You brought it full circle for me. So thank you for that. I actually just kind of sit with that for a minute. Feel really good about where you went, because obligation didn't feel right to me, because I feel like the world right now is really rooted in fear. A lot of the time, media, different outlets, right? We just hear all these messages of fear, and I want to make sure that we're coming from a place of love.
mm-hmm.
And so when you said duty and you brought it full circle to everything else that we're doing, yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me, and I can get on board with that.
It's kind of cool, dude. It's your duty. It's like the scouts. It's your duty to honor your
Yeah,
God. What is it?
on my honor, I will do my best.
To
Do my
honor
duty.
God, my country, and
God, country,
family.
family.
Can't remember. I cups
I
getting
u-
ready.
I got the badge. I got the badge. I had a lot of them, but I forgot.
um, what's the? See where we're at, dude. We're doing awesome, actually. What's it like being an entrepreneur in the days of media?
In which context? Just in general?
Let me rephrase it. Uh, why are you going to start a podcast?
Hmm. I mean, honestly, it goes hand in hand with everything we're talking about right now. I I feel like I have more than I need, and I feel like really drawn to make a difference and have real impact and make real change at the core of our system, in our communities, in the way we do business, in the way we show up in business, and how we teach our teams in business, and really like relating this all back to the family. Like, I think we're missing, like, society in a way has lost apprenticeship. Like back in the Roman times, I'm like a real junkie on Roman times and Greek mythology.
Mm-hmm.
I love these characters because it's duty, honor, you know. And so I guess relating it back to the family, for me, it's really like family business is success. Or actually, you know what? Get rid of that word. The family business is prosperity. And to be prosperous, it doesn't equal money. Prosperity is so much more than money, and the money system's broken. Because as a business owner, man, I look at my beautiful people every day, and some of them barely can get to work and buy groceries.
That's the reality of life right now.
Does that feel fair to you?
No.
How does it make you feel, man? What do you see every day?
So one of the reasons why I have tried to structure the business, at least with my team, the way that I'm doing it is because I know what it's like to, and I still struggle, right? I'm not like balling, but I know what it's like to really struggle. And I know what it's like to want to do something you're passionate about, but not be able to for whatever reason. And I am very thankful and fortunate that I can provide real money to people that are super talented that should be compensated the right way. And, instead of doing something that they're less passionate about and then on their free time or weekends have to do the thing they love. And I still see the struggle in that. And it saddens me because it's choices and circumstances, because you could be working at a job that might not pay the best, but if you're making conscious choices on living, food, and you can get ahead and learn certain things and move up, or do the opposite, and then you put yourself in a bad situation.
Yeah, I appreciate you calling that out and naming that as well, right? Like, I think what I'm hearing you say is there seems to be a big gap or a struggle between the need for money and the need for performing for money,
Yes.
the performance of it, and actually doing something you love that's in relation to your talent, to your gifts. And this ties into the first part of our conversation. The more I have shed the roles, that's why I didn't introduce myself that way. The more I've shed titles, roles, and whatever else that bullshit is, and just really focused on who is Brian Johnson, you know? And I'm in the process of a conversion. I'm not there yet, right? But Brian fucking Johnson, as awesome and successful as that guy was, he was miserable. Hated himself. Wore 12 masks. Nasty, man, on my insides, and it showed on the outside. And so I'm converting to Brian loving Johnson.
Mm.
And so what if the world that we lived in, what if we could talk to these 16 and 17-year-olds? What if we could change the generation? What if they could show up in what they love every day? What if we start with them? What would the world look like to you if everyone was living in their pure talent of who they really were and it wasn't tied to money? The world,
UBI. Just kidding.
hey, dude, the world would look different though, right?
Let me ask you a couple questions and we'll wrap up on that same note. What 2 books or whatever it may be would you recommend to this age group, young kids entering into their adulthood and future, um, who don't have any sort of direction?
That is a really good question. There is a lot of books that I like.
You can only pick 2.
For that age range, I've never been asked this question. I'm always asked this question by my business associates. Let me stew on it for a minute. Oh, man. One comes to mind. I believe it's I think it's Richard Lipton. And called. Man, I can't believe I'm blanking.
I'll help you. I think young kids need to read Rick Rubin's book about being creative.
Yeah.
Rick Rubin's like the godfather of creativity. It's such a simple book, but it's like creativity's in you. You're an artist in your own way. If you haven't read it, I
I'll
think it
I'll
would
check
fit
it
your
out. I
vibe.
haven't read that one. I'll get back to you on the other one, but the basis of the book is you are what you eat, and it actually gives you the science behind it. It's a quick, simple read as well. It's maybe 150 pages.
I'll read that one. That's my style.
Yeah, and like I think we talked about it last meeting when we were just seeing if this was even going to happen, and here we are, like the next day. But it talks about how if you believe your environment's good, your cells actually change,
Oh yeah.
and they give you the science behind it. So I think it's called the biology of belief, actually. The biology
There's
of,
the king
of
himself,
belief.
Brett. What's up, Brett?
The biology of belief.
The biology of belief.
Yeah. So if they proved in a petri dish that if the cells believed they were by a healthy, good environment, that their behavior changed. So I also think, if these kids could be really creative,
Dude, I believe that 100%.
and I've lived it.
It's like whether in sales or life or whatever, it's like you can change you change your attitude, you change the outcome of everything.
Life is but a lens. Choose wisely.
Yeah.
Choose wisely,
Hence
man.
the half full, half empty.
Yeah.
The other, this isn't a book, but it's going to what we were talking about, and then we can wrap with this. Andy Frisella calls it the power list. It's 5 things that you'll do daily to accomplish your goals. Not to-do list, but to move the needle in the right direction. I adopted that, and what I like to do, and I try to do it quarterly because you start a goal and then you can maybe fit, but it's like, what's the best version of myself? What does that look like? What is he doing? Just what everything, because you can close your eyes and you can imagine it because you're you and you know where you want to get to. And then I like to do that and then make that list. That power list is like, what do I got to do every day? Just 5 things. Whether that's just I got to wake up at a certain time and make my bed first thing, or how I told you I got to give gratitude at the end of the day before I go to bed, right? Got to end the day with that.
Love gratitude.
I gotta write in a journal. Don't forget, those, because those are if you're not thankful for the moment, the day, the experience, the conversation, the person that you met, the task that was accomplished, or whatever it is, the problem that occurred, you're missing out on the beauty of life. So the power list, I think, is something that young kids can do because they have their whole life ahead of them, and they should, practice the little things that'll help them get better in the future.
Yeah, and I feel like those little lessons along the way, like that's what life's about. That's where the magic happens.
Yeah.
So I love you saying that. And I just want to add emphasis to one that you said. You said journal.
Yeah.
My life has changed significantly with that simple task. I actually keep 3. I have one personal, one business, and one dream journal.
Oh, nice.
And so I want to say it's Richard Bronson. Again, like, don't quote me, but Richard Bronson, I believe, is who I kind of stole this idea from. And basically, you write down all your problems, or maybe a question, not problems. Like, this isn't like a therapeutic process. This is a, hey, subconscious, while I'm sleeping, what about this?
Yeah.
What about that? Write it all down. I'm telling you, I've been keeping this thing for 2 or 3 weeks. It's magic. I wake up the next day, and then it's not like the answer's in my journal just waiting for me. It's not that easy. But throughout the day, if I have my mind on those things, it's interesting how the answers are right in front of me. They just pop up. Try it, man.
I actually have 3 journals as well.
Oh, no
That's
way.
What's so funny. And
That's
they're
awesome.
similar. I have a life journal that I only write like super major important things. And so it starts in 2016, and I wrote on the first page, like, this book will be like, this is the book where I'm going to document like how my life changes. And then I have just a straight thankful journal, just thankful, thankful, thankful,
Oof.
thankful, thankful. And you can go back and you can see, you can see when growth happens, and when you're struggling, there's less thankfulness. There's empty days, there's empty weeks. And then I actually do have like a weird business journal. It's a small one, and I just write interesting things that happen in my business that I didn't expect. So here's an example. When I hired my first like real hire, where I didn't know this person, they came to me and I hired them, and I was like, this is crazy. And I wrote like, incredible, hired someone. It's going to be the best thing. I'm excited. And then the next page says, well, that person didn't work out. They quit or whatever it was. And you just learn. And so going that is a different kind of journal. So I respect that because you learn from all of them.
Well, and it's a paradox again, right? Like it's a moment of happiness or joy, peace, you major accomplishment, and then
What happened?
and then the pain and the failure. And again, I think, societally, we're so afraid of pain and failure, but that is literally what comes from that is the essence of growth. So let's lean into that a little more. Let's have a conversation about it.
And do something about it. And with that, Brian, I think that's a good way to wrap it up, dude. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'm excited to produce your podcast. For the listeners that got this far, Brian, we're going to help him produce this podcast. I think people that are consistent like you are, that actually have done stuff. And what I really believe, Brian, is if you execute this the right way, the people that you're going to impact are literally the people that see you every day, and the people in the Alpha Graphics community. And I think you truly have an opportunity to do something special if you're consistent and if you let us help you.
I appreciate the
Whether
call
we help
out.
you or not, but I think
No,
you could
man,
do it.
I appreciate that, and consistency is the key, and I look forward to showing up.
Dope.
Thanks, man.
Well, cheers, guys. Have a good one.
See ya.